Hey guys, good evening. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Hope you guys are all doing amazing. This is like the first Monday of December officially, so hope everybody's doing great. We're in the last month of the year, so yeah, it should be exciting. But anyway, today I want to talk about hormonal imbalances. Okay, are your hormones imbalanced? Okay, and for most people, that is the case. Okay, for most men and women. Okay, but I'm going to talk about women today. Okay, so hormonal imbalance in women, unfortunately, is very, very common. And a lot of women don't realize that they're dealing with hormonal imbalances and that these hormonal imbalances are the root cause of a lot of issues, in your body. Okay. And they don't, the important thing is you have to recognize the beginning of a hormonal imbalance. A lot of people just aren't in touch with their bodies, anymore. And they just wait for these symptoms to pile up until they create like a diagnosis, and then they take it seriously. Okay. So in case you did not know, your hormones have an effect on everything. And I'm talking about from your weight to your fertility, okay, to your energy levels, to your sleep patterns. To your metabolism. It has an effect on everything, to your blood pressure. So it's really important for your hormones to be in balance, because like I said, these are things that your hormones being out of balance will affect you on a day-to-day basis. Okay. Your hormones even influence the way you think, which is crazy, but it's a fact. Okay. So anyway, if you're watching me live, definitely hashtag live. And if you're watching me on the replay, hashtag replay. Hi to everybody. All right, I'm gonna do a quick intro. I'm gonna get started. So for those of you who may be new to my page, who don't know me, my name is Sasha Rosa. Okay, I'm a holistic women wellness coach. What I do is I help women who are dealing with womb health issues engage in everyday healthy habits in order for their bodies to heal, in order for their wombs to heal as well. Okay, my superpower is helping women overcome infertility, shrink their fibroids, overcome PCOS, endometriosis, ovarian cysts, plus other health issues as well. Overcome that using holistic methods and utilizing food as medicine. Okay. Thankfully, I've been able to help many women, not just shrink their fibroids, not just overcome from reproductive health issues, but also I've helped at least 3 women now be able to overcome infertility. And I've had 3 clients who were dealing with infertility for years, come to my 12-week transformation program, and were able but all 3 conceived. So one is about to have a baby. So I'm so excited. Okay. Been able to help, a woman overcome a number of health issues. And of course, I've at this point helped hundreds of women lose weight. So it's like really been a blessing to be able to do what I do and put the power back into women's hands when it comes to their own health. Okay. Because I always tell people we have more control than we think when it comes to our health, when it comes to our happiness, when it comes to, in general, our hormones, we have more control than we think, but a lot of people think they don't have control and their bodies are working against them, and that's not the case. All right, so I want to talk about hormonal imbalance today. Hey, everybody coming in, hashtag live if you're in. I would love to know who's on the live. So your hormones, guys, your hormones affect everything. Your hormones affect everything. Your hormones have an influence on, like I said, the way you think, what you do on a day-to-day basis, the way, it has a huge influence. Okay. And that's why, things like depression and anxiety, things like that are hormonal imbalances. Okay. That's where they start. So, just imagine how it is when your hormones are out of balance. If your hormones affect everything, right? They affect everything from the way you think to your metabolism, to your sleep patterns, to your energy levels, to your fertility. Just imagine what happens when your hormones are out of balance. Okay. And what happens is most women's hormones are out of balance. Okay. So what hormones are, basically, for those who may not know, they're chemicals, that are produced within and throughout your whole body. Okay. Like I said, they influence everything. Like they affect all areas of your body. Okay. And they regulate and control your body's development, and they play a large role in your bodily functions, whether you're a woman or a man, so it's, of course, as women, we are more hormonally vulnerable than men. Okay, so we are more affected by hormones, influenced by hormones more so than men. But that, still, I did a post earlier today saying that 40% of men are affected by 40% of men over the age of 40 have ED. Okay, and that is due to hormonal imbalances. So you see how it has an effect on you, and that's the same thing as most women dealing with heavy bleeding. So you see how your hormones affect your your reproductive health, whether you're a man or woman or whatever. So you know, as women, we are just naturally inclined to be more hormonally, you know, vulnerable. It's so important for us to stay in balance. Really, really important. Like I said, when our hormones are out of balance, our body is out of whack. Like, we feel it. Hey, Shayla. Yes. Hey, Bria. Girl, thank you for waking that up, because they love to tell us about our biological clock. Yes, yes, yes. You know, and it's unfortunate, but, you know, women and men are both dealing with hormonal imbalances on a crazy level. There's a huge percentage of people that's dealing with this and normalizing it, you know. And a lot of people, especially when it comes to men and even women as well, people don't know the things that's going on behind the scenes, because I'm a health professional. I've researched all this stuff, and people don't understand. People don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and people don't know what's going on with women behind the scenes. A lot of women think that they're the only ones dealing with heavy bleeding, or, you know, things like PCOS and fibroids. Like, they're the only, like, that's not true. Or infertility, that's not true, because we don't come out and talk about these things. We kind of keep them to ourselves. But no, a lot of women are also dealing with these things. So when your hormones are imbalanced, they create they create like a huge number of symptoms. Okay, very problematic symptoms. And what's the issue is with that? We normalize a lot of the symptoms that come with hormonal imbalances. We normalize, and that's the issue. So these are things that ways that our body shows us signs that something's wrong. But instead of recognizing the signs, we normalize them. You know, things like heavy bleeding. We normalize that. We normalize, you know, cramps, painful cramps. Your periods are not supposed to be painful. You know, I know that you have not heard that. Probably some of you probably have not heard that before, but that is the truth. Your periods are not supposed to be painful. Okay. Moods. We normalize things like mood swings, acne. You know, prolonged periods lasting longer than 4 or 5 days. You know, some people's period lasts a whole 7 days, even longer. So we normalize things like that. So people don't recognize when their body's talking to them and telling them, look, you know, things are out of balance. You know, that is a clear sign of when there's an issue with your menstrual cycle. That is a clear sign that, you know, you are any type of issue, whether it's heavy bleeding, whether it's your prolonged menstrual cycle, whether it's, you know, spotting between your periods. That is a clear sign that you're dealing with elevated levels of estrogen in your body. So when you're dealing with elevated levels of estrogen in your body, of course, that is a hormonal imbalance. Because actually, estrogen dominance is actually one of the most common hormonal imbalances in women. You have about 75% of women dealing with that. Okay, and only 90% of those women have no clue that they're dealing with estrogen dominance. They're dealing with a body with elevated levels of estrogen. Shayla said, exactly. My oldest has pain while on her period. I had to change her diet. Great job, Shayla. See, as we learn these things, we can also help the next generation. That's the beauty of this. As we learn these things, we can also help the next generation. Next generation should not have to suffer from painful cramps and heavy bleeding as we had to do that. You know, and fibroids and infertility, as, you know, some of us had to. It should not suffer from that if we're equipped with this knowledge, okay? So it is your birthright as a woman, you know, to experience painless menstrual cycles. It's your birthright, okay? It's your birthright as a woman to not have painful periods that last longer than 4 days. That is your birthright. Like, you're not supposed to, I mean, as women, we already go through so much. We're not supposed to have these painful periods every single month where we have to call out of work, where we're, you know, in bed all day. That's your body going through, that's your body having a huge level of toxicity. That means that there needs to be a lot of changes going on, lifestyle changes, diet changes, detoxing going on, weak liver. When you're at that point, then you know that's your body talking to you. And a lot of people ignore those signs, and that's why they manifest into fibroids. They manifest into ovarian cysts. They manifest into PCOS. Okay, so do not ignore the signs when your body's telling you something is wrong. Okay, so it's very possible to achieve, you know, a place of having a painless period, or, you know, a peaceful period. I never thought that I would be at this point now where I, you know, don't have pain during my period, don't have cramps, you know, don't have heavy bleeding, you know, just have a period like 3 or 4 days. I never thought I would be at that point, because I was the person that had problematic menstrual cycles for years, to the point where I had anemia. So very, it's very possible to achieve that. But like I said, people need to make these changes. You know what I mean? They need to make lifestyle changes. And they have to recognize when something's wrong. They have to recognize people are so out of touch with their bodies that it's ridiculous. Okay, so we have to get to a place where we're not so out of touch with what's going on with our bodies. We recognize the signs when something's wrong. Okay, we also live a lifestyle that's going to keep our bodies in balance. Okay, a lot of things that people are doing, like the foods that they're eating, they're filling their bodies up with processed foods, not exercising, being overweight. A lot of the lifestyle that we're living is causing us to experience these hormonal imbalances. We're doing it to ourselves, y'all. We're doing it to ourselves. I am 47. I'm perimenopausal. I have no energy. I have anemia. I'm depressed. I have HS and PCOS. I feel like hell. I'm so sorry, Martell. I'm so sorry. Actually, I just posted about this yesterday. I actually had a woman. I was doing one of my clients out, my Zoom VIP clients. I met with them yesterday, and she's also perimenopause now. After working with me for 3 months, now has no symptoms. Her periods are like 3 days. And she used to be in call off for work every single month. Like, she was like, her periods are so peaceful. They're regular now. They're not unpredictable. She no longer is anemic. She feels amazing. She has much more energy. She feels amazing. So, and she also too suffered from PCOS for years, but now it's not giving her any issues at all. So, yeah. So it can. I mean, like I said, it doesn't have to be that case. It doesn't have to be the case where you're going through hell. That does not have to be the case. Lifestyle changes, diet changes. It starts with that. I'm premenopausal too. Haven't had a period in 3 months. Oh no, Lavette, girl, send me a DM, because what I was gonna say, I've had many clients. I've actually had one person that's 49 years old that got a period after years after she thought she was in menopause. Okay, so, if you guys that are not having regular cycles, hit me up, you know what I mean? I have services that can help you, that achieve, because when we're dealing with not having a period for several months, when we're dealing with, any issues going on with menstrual cycle, that means you're dealing with a lot of issues in your body. You're dealing with a lot of toxicity in your body. You have to get your body back into balance. It's so important. It's so important because, like I said, that affects your everyday life. When your hormones are out of whack, it affects your everyday life. Okay, so very, very, very important. Your hormones are produced by your endocrine glands. For those of you who don't know, your hormones are produced by your endocrine glands. So the goal is to maintain balance. Very important, which means that, the female hormonal system, you having good hormonal health is extremely important. Like, it influences the health of your entire body. It influences the health of your entire body. With most women, they're already, when it comes to the sex hormones, the estrogen and progesterone, that's kind of where most women, that's kind of what most women know. Like, that's, but your hormones influence, like, we have much more hormones than that. It's not just estrogen and progesterone, that's kind of like, but those are very important. Those, have to deal with the reproductive organs. That estrogen and progesterone, most people don't have them way out of balance. You're dealing with excess levels of estrogen when you're dealing with heavy bleeding, when you're dealing with, not having a period for months, things like that, directly affected by your menstrual cycle, you're dealing with elevated levels of estrogen. Okay, so, and just because a lot of people think that when they have PCOS, when they're in menopause, they can't deal with, estrogen dominance, but that's not true, because what estrogen dominance is, it's like your estrogen is high in relation to your progesterone. So your progesterone levels are way too low, okay? And when we have that is so, those things being in balance is so important that you can't even get pregnant. You can't even conceive if your estrogen and progesterone are not in balance, okay? When your progesterone levels are too low. So those things are so important. So let me read off the signs of some of the signs of a hormonal imbalances, okay? There are many signs, but here's a few. Here's probably some of the most common. You feel tired all the time. That's definitely a clear sign. Fatigue, because when your hormones are imbalanced, you got energy. You have energy, okay? You have appetite changes, maybe, increase, other people, like, they experience, like, cravings, especially sugar cravings. That's definitely a clear sign. Intense cravings for junk food, for processed foods, because what's happening is the reason why your body's having intense cravings is because your body, you're not giving your body any nutrients. So when you're not giving your body nutrients, it tends to develop cravings. But when you are filling up your body with nutrients, flooding your body with nutrients on a daily basis, you're not going to have cravings. And your body's hydrated as well, because most people are way dehydrated, are extremely dehydrated. But the majority of people are dehydrated, unfortunately. Any issues with your sleep, insomnia. So people that have insomnia, people that wake up in the middle of the night, that is hormonal imbalances. Skin issues, things like acne, things like eczema, any issues dealing with rashes, random rashes, any issues dealing with that. And just to, in relation to that also, I had a client that was dealing, the same client I was talking about that was perimenopausal, she was dealing with those, having random rashes to the point where she was taking medicine for them. And now she no longer has to take her medication for them, the dermatologist prescribed, okay? Because I got her hormones back into balance, okay? Hair loss, so if you're dealing with, thinning, like if you're combing your hair, it's a little bit too much is coming out, things like that, thinning hair, maybe thinning edges, things like that. Like, for men, that would be like any type of baldness for men, that is hormonal imbalance. When men are dealing with, I said before, ED, erectile dysfunction, but when men are dealing with, any type of hair loss as well, that's his hormones are way out of balance, okay? Weight gain as well, that's a hormonal imbalance, okay? Vitamin deficiency, so vitamin D deficiencies, iron, all that stuff, that's a hormonal imbalance. Your body's out of whack because you're not even supplying it with the nutrients that it needs. Osteoporosis, of course, sensitivity to cold or sensitivity to heat as well. You have an altered sex drive. So most of the time that's lower libido, but people have like, they have a low sex drive. That actually is very common. It's something that's, people don't talk about, but for women, it's actually very common, okay? Especially as they get like in their 40s and up. Water retention, any type of bloating, swollen ankles, swelling, any type of water retention. So your stomach being bloated, that is the same thing. And UTIs, of course, yeast infections, BV. I always see online when people try to normalize these things. These are not normal. That is a clear sign your body's out of whack. Okay, stop normalizing sickness. Stop normalizing yeast infections. They're not normal. That's a red flag. Okay, yeast infections, BV, UTIs, red flag. Okay, I'm gonna just keep saying that because people don't get it. Heavy menstrual cycles, definitely. Okay, changes in your blood pressure. High blood pressure a lot of times is definitely hormonal imbalance. Mood disorders, anxiety, depression. These are hormonal imbalances, okay? So changes in your heart rate, things like that. So, these are all signs of hormonal imbalance. All of that is me. Martell, send me a message. Oh no, we got to get your body back into balance. Like, no, we shouldn't, when it comes to your hormones being out of balance, they do affect every area of your life. They affect not just your health, but also, your happiness as well. It is very hard, impossible to live a good quality of life if you're having hormonal issues. If you're having your hormones are out of whack, your hormones are imbalanced. It's very, very hard. This is good information. Thank you, Jasmine. I'm happy you're getting something out of this. So very, very important. So, I want you ladies to examine like your, as well, your menstrual cycle. That's how your menstrual cycle is. Your menstrual cycle is your body's fifth vital sign. Just like you measure, we take our blood pressure, we measure heart rate, all that stuff. You look to those things to, see the health of your body. You also should be looking at your menstrual cycle as well, because your menstrual cycle will tell you when your body's out of whack, when you're dealing with, high levels of inflammation in the body, when you're dealing with a lot of toxins and waste in the body, when you're dealing with excess hormones in the body, your menstrual cycle will tell you. So any irregular, I can't say that word, but anytime your menstrual cycle is irregular, and irregular meaning heavy bleeding, because I have to say this because people normalize, like I said, sickness, cramps, breast tenderness is a sign of hormonal imbalances. I forgot to mention that as well. Breast tenderness is a sign of hormonal imbalance. Anything, you skip a period, that's a sign of hormonal imbalance. You get 2 periods a month, spotting between periods, things like that. Having to wear anything besides a regular pad or tampon, anything higher, that means your periods are too heavy. You're hemorrhaging, okay? So, what was I gonna say? Very, very, you gotta look at the health of your menstrual cycle. Gotta look at it, ladies, gotta look at the health of your menstrual. That will tell you, that's right there, that will tell you, because when you get your body back into balance, you're going to see that reflecting your cycle as well. One of the first signs, I would say, not the first signs, but probably one of the the early signs of women tell me when they're in our programs, when I'm working with them, is that they see a huge difference in their cycles. They no longer have cramps, or their cycles are shorter than before. They go from like 5 days to 3 days, or 7 days to like 4 or 5 days, things like that. They don't have cramps. They don't have heavy bleeding anymore. That's what happens usually as you're getting your body back into good health. So it's so important, ladies. It's so important to make sure your hormones are in balance, to recognize the signs. I want you guys to know the signs and be able to listen to your body, be able to know what's normal, what's not normal, and stop normalizing, things that are, sickness. We don't, and people normalize sickness so much that, we don't even know what health is anymore. That's how much people normalize sickness. And, you want to be well informed, not just for yourself, but also for, like I said, the next generation, like your daughters. How are you going to know that your daughter's hormones are out of whack if you can't even recognize when your hormones are out of whack? Your daughters are dealing, in their teenage years, dealing with things like cramps, dealing with, things like heavy bleeding. Instead of putting them on birth control, which is going to further take their body way out of whack, it's, how about making some changes to their diet? How about making some changes to their lifestyle? How about making them get, more sun? Things like that. Natural thing. Good information. Thanks for sharing. You're welcome, Celeste. Hopefully I said your name right. Thank you for tagging people. Yes, make sure you guys are sharing the live. Share the live as well. Because more women need to hear this. A lot of women think that, like I said, a lot of women normalize these hormonal imbalances. They don't know that it's a sign that something's wrong. Okay. And what happens is, the reason why it's so important to know the signs early on, these things manifest into things like fibroids. These things manifest into things like, infertility, PCOS, things that are much more serious. Okay. I know it for me, when I had fibroids, because I had fibroids a few years ago. Before that, my body was showing me signs for years, but I did not recognize them. Things like, from the time I was a teenager, things like cramps, heavy bleeding, things like that. But I just thought that that's just what women went through. I just thought that, hey, I'm just one of the unlucky ones that deal with these horrible cramps. That's always in the nurse's office every month in high school. So, not really recognizing that was my body trying to tell me something. Okay. So really important that you recognize when something is wrong. All right. So important. So for those women that, if you're experiencing hormonal imbalances, if you're experiencing things like infertility, fibroids, PCOS, endometriosis, anything that's really taking a toll on your health, especially your reproductive health, that I would love to help you. Okay. I do have a 12-week transformation program for those that don't know, and I'm accepting clients. And it's actually, the 12-week transformation program has actually been extended to 16 weeks. I did, started last week, but it's been extended to 16 weeks. So if you're interested, I would love to help you, so I can help you one-on-one and really getting your body back into balance. And not just getting your body back into balance, getting your organs back into good health as well. Because you're dealing with hormonal imbalances, then you're dealing with, you're dealing with a weak liver, then you're dealing with, kidneys that aren't filtering the way they're supposed to be filtering. You're dealing with probably really bad gut health, So getting your organs back into, also getting your organs back into balance, detoxing, all that waste and toxins out, access hormones, getting your body back into good health, and flooding your body with nutrients, okay? The nutrients that it actually needs in order for your body to heal, in order for your fibroids to shrink, in order for your cysts to shrink, in order for, your womb to heal, okay? So if you're interested in working with me one-on-one, go ahead and sign up for my 12-week transformation program. Like I said, it's now 16 weeks long, okay? So that's 4 whole months. We're about to embark on 2023. Let's not go into, next year, or even, a few months into the year with these hormonal balances, with fibroids, with, endometriosis. Let's not go into, the new year still dealing with the same things that we were dealing with before. And the great thing about hormonal imbalances is that, honestly, if you get on a clear plan within 30 to 60 days, you're going to be able to see a huge difference. Same thing with men who are dealing with ED. They're going to be able to see a huge difference as well, being consistent for 30 to 60 days. And that's one thing I really help women in a program with, consistency, because that's one thing, engaging in everyday healthy habits. I tell them, when it comes to like things like fibroids, for everybody to shrink their fibroids, it takes a little bit of time. So you have to be consistent. But I tell them, hey, in order for your symptoms to go away, you want to, like I said, the lighting is kind of weird. Oh my gosh. Okay. Sorry. The lighting was weird for a second. In order for your symptoms to go away, in order for your symptoms to decrease, you want to be consistent and changing your everyday habits. Okay. Okay, so I hope that this helped. I hope that this live was helpful. All right, if you're interested in joining the 12-week transformation program, go ahead and send me a message. Jump in my DMs. If you have a question, go ahead and jump in my DMs. And yeah, like I said, I have other things as well that can help you. I can help you ladies, other offers. So go ahead and get in my DMs. Let's not go into 2023 dealing with the same mess that we were dealing with in 2022, okay? I want everybody to have healthy, hormones and healthy womb and, to be happy. I don't want you guys dealing with fibroids, PCOS, all this stuff that's really takes a toll on our mental health. Not just our physical health, but also our mental health as well. So I know how that feels like, okay? As somebody that's dealt with that. Thank you, Terry, for tagging all these people. Make sure you guys share the live, all right? Love you guys. And if you guys have any questions, let me know if you guys have any questions before I jump off. I mean, nobody has questions? Okay, make sure y'all share the live, all right? And if you're just coming in, make sure you watch the replay as well, all right? Have a good one. Like I said, if you guys have a question or about any of my services or anything like that, go ahead. Feel free to jump in my DMs, all right? Talk to you ladies later. Bye.